Hi.
Hi, can you hear me and see me okay?
Yes. How about you?
Perfect. Yes, I can see you, but I don't see Yanka, but I think that's intentional. Hi, Karin. Karin doesn't want to talk. She's our design canteen manager, so she has this like organizational stuff about this call under her, so I hope that everything's going to be okay.
Hi.
Hi. Are you still in Nepal?
Yes, it's last 2 days, and I'm going back on 24th, and then layover in New Delhi, and then I'm going back to Copenhagen. Ahoj, jako se máš?
Yeah, I've seen your photos on LinkedIn actually, and I think it looks super cool, and it must be really like you must really know a lot of stuff about the culture, right? And hi, hello, Branko.
Hi, Branko.
Perfect.
Definitely, this trip is life-changing from many perspectives. It's really nice, and it's quite long also. I'm here out of Denmark for almost 2 months, so it's time to go back home.
Yeah, I think so. 2 months is a long time, but it must be super exciting.
It is.
You want to settle in Poland?
No, I'm in Nepal now, in Kathmandu.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Yeah, he's on this big trip to, explore the world.
No, I'm continuing the research based on the Bevika scholarship I got last year, and I had to start before the new year started, so it's almost over, but I'm looking forward to go back to Denmark.
And the Bevika scholarship and your trip to Nepal, is that connected, or you're like on a pause now?
No. It is connected because I had to use that money and start using the money before the end of 2024. And I was allowed to continue in 2025, so it's almost over.
Yeah. That's nice. And maybe let's just try out Janka and Branko, that we can hear you, you can hear us, and all this technical stuff.
Hi there.
Hi.
Nice.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you both.
Lovely.
Yeah, I think both audio and the camera is good. I will say straight, or maybe first to confirm, Branko, you're leaving 1850, right?
Yeah, that's like the
latest.
Yeah, I have to be somewhere that is not far away from here, but
Okay. And then I guess for you both, Janka and Mark, is 6 okay?
yeah.
Yes. Wait.
7, right?
I'm sorry, 6. Sorry, 7.
Yeah. Actually, I'm confused because in here it's almost 11, and in Czech it's 5:58. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So the point is that the part with you as the judges will take 1 hour. We still have then there's still 1 hour left for the call that is possible to use. We don't think that we have to use that 1 hour afterwards, but we agreed that we will just saturate the questions that are directed to you the most at the beginning, and then we will follow with questions directed to Eliška. They are more formal about the applications and stuff like that.
Yes.
As long you need me, I can stay. It's no problem.
Okay. Maybe we will use that. Then let's give it 2 more minutes for the visitors to join, and then we will try to start as sharp as possible.
Yes. We've actually created this video guide for our contestants. It's on our YouTube and also on our website. So I will share that quickly right after we start. So yeah, there will be this video guide segment, and then I will introduce myself, and Natalia will follow with the agenda. So just so you know.
Okay, I will use the last minute before we start to tell our visitors that my colleague already put a link to Slido in the chat here down below. So you can already open that now and use it to ask our jury your questions. So you can just drop your questions, and please in English if that's possible. I can definitely translate, but it would be nice if they can see it straight in English language. Nice. Okay, Eliška, I think you can like slowly get ready, and in 1 minute we can start with your video.
Yes, perfect. I hope the video and the audio will be all right. If not, just shout at me. I will try to restart it or something, but I hope it will be okay. So let me just set it up, and then 6:01 p.m. I will. Oh, it's 01, like 02. I will start the video.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so at least for now, let me just say hello to all the new comers.
Nevíš si rady s přihlašovacím procesem do soutěže Best in Design? Chci si konkrétně představit materiály, které po tobě potřebujeme, anebo tě zajímá, co se stane po odeslání tvé přihlášky? Jmenuji se Eliška, jsem direktorka soutěže Best in Design a společně si v tomto videu průvodci ukážeme, co všechno soutěž obnáší. Zde je obsah videa s časovými stopážemi. Můžeš si tak pohodlně překliknout zrovna na to, co tě o soutěži zajímá nejvíce. Začneme od začátku, a to od samotného návrhu, který hodláš do soutěže přihlásit. Práce nemusí spadat pod žádné specifické téma, zadání ani oblast. Pouze pod kategorii, do které chceš svůj projekt přihlásit. Těmi jsou Product and Industrial Design, Service Design, Fashion Design a Communication Design. Specifikace jednotlivých kategorií najdeš v pravidlech soutěže na našem webu. Odborná porota soutěže se každopádně při rozhodování o vítězích zaměřuje na několik důležitých faktorů, a těmi jsou například tvá kreativita, inovativnost, použité materiály, podpora udržitelného rozvoje či celková finální podoba tvého návrhu, včetně realizace. Soutěž nemá téměř žádná omezení. Neohraničujeme počet zaslaných přihlášek, zaměření tvého projektu ani tvé dosavadní zkušenosti. Všechno je navíc kompletně zdarma. Jediné, co musíš splňovat, je určitý věk a stáří tvého projektu. Tobě nesmí být více než 30 let a tvému projektu více než 2 roky. Pokud se nechceš do soutěže přihlašovat sám, nezoufej. Můžeš se přihlásit jak samostatně, tak i v týmu. Teď společně projdeme přihlašovací proces, neboli odeslání přihlášky do soutěže. Nejedná se o nic těžkého, každopádně po tebe potřebujeme určité podklady, abychom mohli přihlášku přijmout do soutěže. Jedná se o 4 věci. Vyplněný webový formulář, poster, anotaci a fotografie. Webovým formulářem se rozumí klasické vyplnění všech políček v rámci naší přihlášky. Od tvého jména, názvu práce a adresy až po tvůj e-mail či telefon včetně předvolby. Sdělit nám můžeš také, odkud o nás víš, nebo tvé sociální sítě kvůli propagaci v případě tvé nominace. Dále se jedná o poster. To je grafický výstup, který vizuálně shrnuje hlavní koncept, detaily a estetiku práce pomocí fotek, ilustrací nebo krátkých popisků a slouží k přehlednému představení projektu porotě. Obvykle nám soutěžící posílají poster ve formátu A3, samozřejmě digitální. Jako další potřebujeme anotaci. To je textový popis návrhu, který představí hlavní myšlenku, cíl nebo přínos a slouží k rychlé orientaci poroty v konceptu projektu. Nově jsme anotaci lehce standardizovali napříč kategoriemi. Nejdříve nám odpovíš na 3 základní otázky o projektu a poté máš volný prostor napsat o svém projektu cokoliv, co dál potřebuješ. No a posledním materiálem jsou fotografie tvého designu. Jejich podoba často záleží na povaze dané kategorie. třeba u service design a communication design, neočekáváme vždy hmatatelné výstupy, ale například screenshoty či grafické výstupy. Zatímco u kategorie Product and Industrial Design nebo Fashion Design zpravidla vydáváme rendery a fotografie reálných návrhů. Maximální počet fotografií, které nám můžeš zaslat, je 5. Pamatuj, že porota vždy ocení, když je tvůj návrh fyzicky vytvořen, má myšlenku a je funkční v reálném světě. A přesně to by mělo být zřetelné ze tvé přihlášky. Zbytečně tak nechoď kolem horké kaše a snaž se, aby bylo z tvé přihlášky zřejmé, co je pointou tvého projektu. Na závěr webového formuláře máš možnost nám zaslat i různé doplňkové materiály, jako například odkazy na videa, portfolia anebo animace. Ale pozor, tyto doplňkové materiály slouží pouze jako něco navíc. Porota na ně nemá povinnost přihlížet, jelikož svůj projekt musíš co nejlépe odprezentovat v rámci povinných materiálů, formuláře, anotace, posterů a fotografií. Tyto dodatečné odkazy slouží jenom jako doplnění, kdyby porota měla potřebu se o tvém projektu dozvědět další informace. Doporučujeme proto, aby byla doplňková videa a animace maximálně do 3 minut, aby měla porota možnost si všechny doplňkové materiály prohlédnout. Přihláška do soutěže je odeslaná a co teď? Stačí jen čekat na rozhodnutí poroty s tím, že na začátku března se ti ozveme s dalším postupem a výsledky. Pokud se umístíš v top 3 své kategorie, postupuješ do finále. Finále se obvykle odehrává v polovině března formou online hovoru. Tam představíš porotě svou koncepci a záměr projektu. Na tomto hovoru se rozhodne o finálním umístění 1., 2. a 3. místa každé kategorie a zároveň o tom, kdo si odnese titul Best in Design daného ročníku. Vůbec se ale neboj, tým Best in Design tu bude pro tebe a k finále ti pošleme všechny potřebné informace. Po finále nastává ta nejhezčí část soutěže. Networking, vernisáž a předávání cen Best in Design. S nominováním do top 3 dostáváš totiž automatické pozvání na festival Zlín Design Week a s ním spojený program vytvořen speciálně pro Best in Design porotu a finalisty daného ročníku. Tento program se bude konat jeden den v rámci festivalu v květnu. Kromě finanční výhry tak budeš mít možnost se seznamovat, inspirovat a především slavit. Každý finalista má také prostor prezentovat svůj výherní projekt na výstavě Best in Design přímo tady ve Zlíně po dobu 2 týdnů v květnu. A to je vše. Informací je hodně, takže pokud máš nějaké otázky, neváhej mi napsat na můj e-mail. Svůj projekt nám můžeš poslat do tohoto termínu a doufám, že tě uvidím mezi přihlášenými. Teď už zbývá jenom vyčkat na rozhodnutí poroty a kdo bude letos Best in Design. Těšíme se.
All right, so I hope that everything was clear. You could hear anything. Yeah, everything. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, that's really good. I would like to welcome everyone. My name is Eliška. I'm the director of Best in Design, and I would like to welcome you on our Q&A call. You've just seen our new video guide for the competition. So if you want to watch it again for yourself, it's on our YouTube or on website of Zlín Design Week. Many thanks to our wonderful judges who are here today with us, Branko, Janka, and Marek, as well as our fantastic host, Natalia. Thank you very much for all of your presence. I will be here to answer any organizational questions as for the whole competition. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask. We are here for you. And that will be all for me. Nati, if you want, it's all yours.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for the word, Eliška, and for the introduction. It's my pleasure to welcome you all as well. It's the first... Eliška, can you turn off your mic?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I wanted to just say that it's the first ever live streaming for your questions regarding Best in Design. So we really hope it will go all well, and you're all more than welcome to ask the questions in the Slido. As I mentioned previously, it's dropped. The link is dropped in the comments in the chat. We have 3 amazing judges here today. All of them were participating in the competition before. 2 of them were judges before. Marek is the winner of, I guess, all the categories of the last year. So he definitely has some previous experience with the competition as well. We will definitely introduce you all guys a bit more later. I would like to say the most important information of tonight, and that is that we only have now 40 minutes to use Branko's time. Latest 18:50 he has to leave. So if you will have any questions to Branko, we will definitely take them as first. Second to leave we will be Janka, who has to be gone at 7 p.m. So questions to service design will follow. Marek, he can stay the longest, so I think we will close the questions around industrial and product design that are direct to you. And the latest will be the practical infos about your applications that can be directed to Eliška, our best in design director. So she will definitely has some time for your questions at the end. Firstly, we will start with a panel discussion. I prepared around 10 questions to our judges. So I have some structure that we will follow, but we definitely want to have at least 20 minutes for your questions. So afterwards, we will have some questions from my side in the panel discussion done. I will see how much time there is left, and then we will just jump straight in to your questions that probably we will first start reading from the Slido, and if we use all of them from the Slido, then we will just, maybe we can just turn on the mics and have a live discussion. So yeah, not to prolong it any further, I will invite our directors, our judges to very shortly introduce themselves. Maybe what do you do? What is part of your professional career, and just maybe something interesting about yourself. Maybe Branko, you can start first.
Hello, good evening. Well, thank you for organizing this. It's great that you are so proactive as a platform to do this. So chapeau for you. Well, my name is Branko Popovic. I'm artistic director of Fashion Clash Foundation. I founded it and I'm still doing this. So it's my 16th year working for Fashion Clash, and my main expertise would be talent development and developing projects that are supporting up-and-coming designers, and always in a field from multimedia approach. So my practice is both in fashion design, but also in performing arts. So I always look at projects very broadly. Something fun about myself: I've been working all day sitting here behind a computer. I'm not so creative about anything fun, but I can show you around. This is how our office looks like. Fashion Clash seems like a big organization, but in practice it's only few people working here. So it's just a very small space. Some of those people, think that there's a huge organization with a lot of departments. It's not. In reality, we're also just people behind a computer and trying to make our day best.
Thank you for the commentary. I will only follow with that. Branko is the judge for the fashion and textile discipline. Then maybe second, Janka, you could introduce yourself.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. So I'm originally a social designer, scholar. Currently, I work at the University of Art and Design, Budapest, which is the biggest and oldest university in Hungary regarding design. Also, probably one of the oldest ones in Europe as well, almost 150 years old. I lead a research lab called Society and Action Lab, and our research projects mainly fall in the domain of scientific research in the field of design. We do practice-based research, and we publish very often, but I also work on very practical projects with very practical outcomes. And my background is originally in product design, concept design, and curatorship regarding social impact.
Thank you so much, Janka. I will add that Janka is judging the service design category. So Marek, last but not least.
Hi, my name is Marek Kuzminski, and I'm social designer within industrial design and visual communication. At the moment, I'm continuing research around my project. I was previously a month in India, visiting different states and cities and rural areas, where I was trying to understand what does it mean a well-being for children with disabilities and their families, and what is the support from local authorities and government. And at the moment, I'm ending my research in Kathmandu in Nepal, and in a few days I'll be back to Denmark.
So nice. I will definitely encourage everyone to check out Marek's social media and maybe most probably the Instagram to just see how his winning project looks like, and it's still looking alike and you're developing it, right? Nice. So you can definitely check that out. And I will jump in straight to the first question, definitely to all three of you. And that is actually, I would like to ask about your connection to Zlín Design Week Festival, and more concretely to the competition Best in Design, because all of you were part of it last year in different positions. And I would really like, because you're joining it again, so I guess there's some connection, some relationship. So I would like to ask you to describe maybe your emotion or your, what are you thinking about the Best in Design competition? What is your connection to it? Anyone can jump in first.
I can start. So my connection to Zlín Design Week is through the last year competition, and connection to people I know personally, Ptali, because we're at the same university in Kolding School of Design in Denmark. And I think the Zlín Design Week, it's a great place where the young people taking initiative to organize the festival, and actually they deciding the designing and they spreading the word around design and promoting the design in the world. And it's an amazing place to go and meet different people. And I think that's a great thing about Zlín Design Week.
I can continue. I was invited last year in the service design jury, even though my background is originally not in service design, which is quite interesting. But I work in a very interdisciplinary manner. I work with a very diverse team. And that's one of the things that I really love about social design in the field which I work in, is that it really covers all of the disciplines that I work with. So, of course, I do have some experience in this and some background, and I've been working in projects which are connected to service design. But I think the category that I'm jurying is particularly, necessary to bring in a multiplicity of points of view. So that's why I'm very excited to see this year's competitors.
Thank you, Anka. Branko, what about you? Why do you think Best in Design is unique?
Well, I've been part of it now for several years, and I always feel very like, oh my God, they invited me again. So apparently, it feels very special. There's different reasons why I like it. First of all, as Marek already mentioned, I think you're one of the kindest organizations I know. And for me, it's very important to work with, kindness is so overlooked sometimes. It's very important people are friendly and just, being nice. And I think that's one of the first reasons. But when I think of it, I think, oh, there's just genuinely young people doing this, very kind, very intrinsic. Yeah, let's support that. So that's like my first thing. Second thing is what I like about it is that with Fashion Clash, we always look in how we can broaden the meaning of what fashion is and what it means and who decides what fashion is. Since you have it as a category, a part of the kind of like larger this topic of design, I like that because then I feel fashion is part of a larger conversation, not limited to, let's say, a fashion scene. So I like the fact that it's not limited to a certain genre. And I like the fact that it's very remote. It's quite, remote to come to Zlín. I mean, I used to go to events in Prague, or other places, and I'm based in Maastricht, in the Netherlands. So in a way, I feel like, oh, this is like this kind of cities in the margin of a country where you wouldn't expect certain things to happen, but then they can also do good stuff, and then people will come there as well. So I think in a way there is similarities with the city that I live in, that is also a small city in the south of the Netherlands, but at the same time in the middle of Europe, because my house is 10 minutes walk from Belgium. So it depends how you look at an end of a border, right? Where, as you are also in the border of different countries, right? So I like those aspects and how, that's positioned there, and the fact that it's rather small event and also leaves a lot of room for intimate encounters. It's very easy to get to know people, and it's kind of very accessible to network. I can imagine for a lot of young people also like the idea of, I'm attending something, and networking can be very intimidating. I also don't like it myself, but it's very easygoing to do that. So those are some things that I think, for me, very interesting to be involved.
Thank you so much. Marek, my next question is to you. So you won all the 4 categories last year. I was wondering what was the most tough moment in creating your portfolio? What was maybe the most harsh part, if you had some fall downs maybe in the process? And maybe if you can later on also describe the process of how did you approach the application and the whole process of applying.
And just to clarify, about portfolio overall, about portfolio of the project?
Portfolio of the project.
So definitely the most difficult part is always to bring everything together at the end of the project, because it's not just to creating the final outcome and making nice presentation, but also it was really important for me that everyone will understand what was the project about and why I did touch upon this topic, where it's coming from, and what actually I'm aiming with that project. And the most difficult part was actually to bring that everything together, short it, narrow down, and find a way how to explain that to people and to the judges and people which they were like in the process of choosing the winner. Definitely, I will highlight that it's really important to have nice pictures with also pictures from the process and how the project was created from the research stage through which way you gain the knowledge to create the project, and then to the nice pictures to the final outcome, and maybe also from the testing and the nice explanation from the beginning till the end, because I think it's quite important, not just the final outcome, but all the process, how you made it through to create that project. And then you asked me also for how would I describe my process of applying. So it was quite hectic, because really often I'm doing everything in the last moment, especially application like that. I was struggling definitely a little bit with the video because my computer is old. So when I was editing the video, it was basically crashing. So definitely, whoever wants to apply, please do not leave that for the last moment. It will take you a while, even though you have all the materials which you need, but also to figure it out how to fit that in the short amount of time to explain everything and make sure that you are understood in the way that you would like to be understood. Good way maybe is to add subtitles to the video, because sometimes maybe the accent might be confusing. Also, what I was doing, I remember I spent the most of the time to describe the project, a little bit less of the time without counting the crashes with the computer for the video, and then the pictures I had already ready from the exam of my master project, my master exam. So I had everything in theory, but I didn't have anything. So it's taking 2 days, good 2 days, to just rethink, redefine, and make from A to Z all the process of application and follow. Also change the files size and all this kind of like little technical things which you think will not take you a long time, but at the end of the day, it's taking a while to make sure everything fits in the right way. So take your time, rethink, and redefine everything, and then give someone to check your application. It's a good thing to do, to read it. If this person understands the project description and the video, then go ahead and click and submit the application.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you for reminding us that maybe also like checking it with other people, it's definitely like nice first round of a peer check. And I'm sure if you give it to your peer designer, they will give you at least few inputs that would be maybe mainly the same as from the judges. I'm very glad that you reflected on the process, and that people should definitely reflect the process in the portfolio, because it was my following question. As last year, after the competition and after the festival, we had our panel discussion where I think it was maybe you, Branko, or you, Janka, someone mentioned that you often see that participants don't really reflect the process. They really tend to only show the final results, and that you really miss that. So I would also like you to reflect on that a little bit, that how much of the process you maybe would like to see, and if it's maybe sometimes enough to see the process, or like if it's even possible to apply with something where you don't have the final product yet or the final renderings.
I think that's a really good point. And yeah, it did come back occasionally during the jury process as well as later on at the finals. I would say that we love to see a finished project, but I think the nature of design is cyclical. So as much as we come to a sort of a final result at the end of the design process, when we test it, when we prototype it, when we see it working in real life, it will always be unfinished in a way. So even if it's just in a conceptual phase, I think it's still worth to apply with the project. But I would say that in that case, we will look definitely much more closely at the research part, and whether the idea or the concept is well-founded, whether the target groups are thoroughly, researched, whether it's established well. But otherwise, I mean, it really depends on the discipline as well, or the discipline, what constitutes as a final result.
Mm-hmm. Branko, how is it for you and the category of fashion design?
I think it's same as Janka said. It really depends on the project. Even within fashion, it's really so. Sometimes, in certain projects, the research is a very important part of it. So then you would look at that more. Eventually, there is like a package of different things that are good about the project. It's not only one or the other. So a lot of projects that don't get picked that are also interesting, but maybe not for what you were looking for as a jury. So at the end, we select 10 and then we make a top 3, right? So, and when, let's say in fashion category, if I open files, like, oh, wow, there's more than 100. And I was like, okay, then it's a lot of work. And at first I go through everything. And then you see in a lot of projects, there's like, oh, just you see one drawing and some text. It's like, and if that already doesn't appeal to me, then I was like, oh, I'm not going to look at it. So I end up with things that are like, oh, this looks interesting. And then I dive further. And then in some cases, you realize, oh, this is a very good process. So that might give some projects, extra attention from, that's how I see it. And so that's why I think it's, so there are different levels how your application can be, appeal to someone, it's also, and I mean, eventually it's also a discussion, different people find different things important. It's very good to look at, what is your project? What do you find important on your, which aspect is important? And sometimes you can see a potential in a project. You say, oh, well, this is a very interesting project. And nominating this project could really help this project. Can sometimes be a stronger case to choose someone rather than a finished and say, oh, it's good, but how, sometimes also I look at also how this particular prize can benefit someone, a certain project, it's, so yeah, I think it's what both of you say, like it's a combination of things. And it's sometimes, as you said, like, very important thing, like when you don't have proper images, when you have the ambition as a designer to put yourself out there, it's a very good investment to make, to have them ready, right? To have good material. Although sometimes, I've learned to look through the material. As for me, it helps a lot because I have a background as fashion designer myself, so I can read a drawing. How bad, even sometimes a very beautiful drawing doesn't mean that it's going to be a very good design. Because some people can draw beautifully, but doesn't mean that that's going to end up being a good designer. I know I can read how a dress is drawn, and I say, oh, it's a drawing, but it's not so interesting what it's going to become, you know. So it's good to kind of invest in how you articulate and present your work. For some people, visually articulating themselves is what they can do better than in words. So I'm also, let's say, I know that some people are not, especially in a lot of fashion design projects, they are not so, sometimes I know they don't know how to write properly or very well, but that's okay. I will look through that. But at least you feel, or someone tried to find a way how to communicate it. At the end of the day, I mean, we don't know most of the project, we know the people. So as an applicant, you have to think, oh, these people have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
So
maybe you can actually say that it's just really important to find your, I guess, medium that is the best fitting for you to describe your attention with the project. What is your aim? So maybe for someone it is drawing, for someone it's photography, for someone it's words. But as Marek said before, it's really important that you narrow down what you want to tell, and I guess also be really authentic and transparent, and don't just play around with like fancy drawings that you want to appeal with, but just get to the point.
I think maybe it's a good way of thinking that you're trying to sell projects to be produced. So you're just asking yourself a few questions, really important questions, and then you have your research question or the project question, and then you're answering, why did you do that? What for? What was your inspiration? How did you come up to do in a certain way to gain the knowledge and information about that? What was your target group? Or also, it's really important to write which materials and few like elements which will be really important. And if you can narrow down that in the limited text, then I think it's gonna be good.
Okay, I will actually jump into the questions from the audience because there are more and more. And Branko, I know you're leaving in not even 18 minutes. My first question, but that is to all of you, and that is, what are the most common mistakes contestants make when handling in their work and portfolios? What should we watch out for?
I think I can answer that. According to my experience, we've seen quite a lot of works which were, I think, miscategorized. And this seems like a very obvious thing, but I think maybe it makes sense to very thoroughly check the categories before they submit. Because in the service design category, there were several submissions which were really good submissions, but they would have produced a better result in a different category, maybe. So look at the category descriptions, look at the previous year's submissions in that category. I think that's very helpful. And make sure that the purpose of the project is very easily readable.
Marek, Branko, anything that you've seen that is repetitively put it wrong or?
Well, I wouldn't say, I think in fashion categories, maybe a little bit less of a problem, like of miscategorization. But I sometimes realize that, and then when it's like, it's me being like, oh, I want to give everybody a good, proper chance, it's end up kind of like, for example, you go on people's Instagram, and then I find more images and better information there. So it's because I took extra time to find it, because I was like, this looks interesting, but why is there not so much information? And then I wonder, so if you already posted it on Instagram, so you have the images, so why is it difficult to submit them? So I think the fact of thinking like, how can you make it for us easier to assess your work? I think you easily think like, oh, I'm just, here's my Instagram link. But yeah, it means for me, I have to take my phone, type you, sometimes very difficult names, let's say, in my rhythm, I want, if it's difficult, I can't find the proper person. So make sure that it's very easy to get access, and then you immediately see the work. And especially if you have it, make sure that that's already, sometimes the feeds of Instagram accounts look better than the application. So, but that's already an extra task. So I wouldn't say there's a mistake, but don't be lazy. If you really want this, sometimes by how someone applied and it looks a little bit kind of random, then you feel, oh, but this person is also maybe not so motivated. It doesn't come as motivated across, you know. With some of the, when it looks properly done, you feel, oh, this person really invested time, then I will also invest more time in reviewing it. It's kind of like, you know, take it seriously if you really want it. It's not just, oh, I put it out there and then I see what happens. Well, then nothing will happen, you know, if you didn't really set down, as I said, Marek said, like, yeah, you really took time to do this. Well, he had a great project, but it also resonated with how much, you know, he really took it seriously to present himself.
Yeah, I'm very happy that you're saying it, because it was also one of my questions for later, because I remember very clearly that last year you mentioned it in the panel discussion that you found sometimes the contestants kind of, let's say lazy, straight ahead, that they don't really put the effort in building the image of themselves and also giving enough of, let's say, contact details, or giving you the option to also find the work and what they do properly afterwards. I will, next question from the audience is if you also consider social or environmental aspects in the decision making. Is social and environmental aspects very important for you, or what role do they play for you? Janka, you're talking, but your microphone is off.
Thanks. I think I'm speaking for everybody, but I hope they reinforce me in this. I think this is one of the two most crucial aspects of all the work. This is generally something that we designers really need to take into account all the time. So, of course, besides the functionality and the aesthetic quality, and the actual solution that is presented, these are two of the most top-ranked aspects of the decision making. So even if a project is not specifically positioned as an environmentally conscious or socially conscious project, the contestant can still make sure that they do their research on how this design impacts these frameworks. So if they, if the focus is not some vulnerable group, for example, they can still think about what is the larger context on this.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe Marek, you could follow. Oh, sorry, Branko.
I totally agree, and I think you really have to ask. I look at that always. For me, it's like, of course, aesthetics, and you can look at the, but you really have to ask yourself, why is this project existing? Why do we need this? And also, like, it's going to be part of the design week, which is all about new solutions, sustainability. So it's also like when you present it, there is a social responsibility because people are going to see your work. So what will they see? It's also for us when we compose the top 3. We know there is also responsibility from us as a jury to select projects that will inspire people to think differently, right? So it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
I think also as a designer, you're showing your maturity if you are able to say, why did you do your projects? Why did you use these materials? What for, and everything like that. And also we live in 21st century and 2025, and I think there should be no more projects which they're not focusing on social and environmental aspects. So I think this is really important. Also, my experience as a judge is for the first time, so I can just tell from my experience or like my wish how the world's supposed to function. So maybe my word is not that relevant to be a judge, but definitely the designer should be aware what is producing and why, and social and environmental aspect. It's kind of like a must to do.
I would probably, from my perspective, I would definitely advise the applicants not to like force it in there. Like, it's not about just like brand it as a green or like very social project, but it's more to, I would say, find the context of what you do, as Branko said, and like what is the motivation of you even starting the project at the first place.
Exactly, and to give a light, because sometimes it's not a lot of young designers, because it's a very challenging world, dystopian narratives. We know that it's not only about that it has to kind of change the society, but at least that you as a designer can articulate, okay, even if you're just making like a very simple, I don't know, embroidery, and you know that it's a lot of, that you can articulate, yeah, it is something that I find important, that you articulate why is something important, why is it there? It doesn't have to be kind of a huge game changer. It can be sometimes a very simple approach, but that you feel, oh, but this is really important because this is neglected or this is looked over. So it's not always about, yeah, you have to have the most innovative, sustainable materials and these kinds of things. It can be sometimes something very simple, but if you think, oh, it's valuable. So, and how do you describe it? Why is it valuable? And it can be valuable because it means for a certain small community, they benefit from it because let's say there is a group, there is participatory aspect of it, then it's already valuable. It's not groundbreaking as a design, but it has value, and the value, it can be also that it impacts maybe just few people, but that if you articulated that it's important for you, then that's already enough. You know, you don't have to change the world. So give yourself a break that even, you know, the fact that you are doing that's already good enough. But mention that and mention where it comes from you.
Nice, thank you. I would actually like to know from you judges, Marek, you probably still don't know, but how much time do you actually have to see one application? Because I know it changes every year. I remember last year in the industrial and product design, I think there was 250 applications, Eliška, right, around that. So I think it's very important to like be clear about how many minutes do you actually have to see that one project, so participants really know how is it important to, yeah, like shrink everything all together and be clear Is it like 5 minutes or 20 minutes?
I think it really depends. For our category, it was definitely not this big of a number of applicants. I can't really say how much exactly. But we took an approach with my jury partner last year where we actually discussed in detail all of the projects. We took some time separately to assess them individually, and then we discussed in detail about it. So it's hard to say, but I would say that the project has to be interesting and clear enough to catch your attention in the last 1 minute, the first 1 minute, sorry. Mm-hmm. And of course, then we dive deeper, as well as Branko said, but the clarity, I think, is key for us to really want to dive deeper.
Okay, for you, Branko, I guess there was more of the...
It's the same, like, as I said, like how I do it, let's with jury, I make, let's say, a top 20 that I think, oh, this is for me interesting to put into the discussion. I like the discussion as well, because sometimes, you know, I can have other names in my top 20 than the other jury. But I would say, like, so far, it was, we always kind of pretty much agreed. So usually good projects, they kind of stand out for people. But yeah, so if project is really like, I look at it, it's too vague, I don't really understand it, not interesting images or not proper enough, then I just don't put it in. I just don't spend time on it, because I want to spend it more for projects that are properly done and look interesting. So you kind so for me, it's at the end of the day, like, yeah, I'm not counting the time. I just, if I said yes to something like this, then I will do it seriously. So of course, yeah, it is a lot of work because I do a lot of these things. I mean, it's in my free time that I do it, in the evenings and stuff like that. But yeah, so it helps a lot when projects are kind of inspiring. Then you don't see it as work. It's like, oh, wow, this is cool. Or, you know, it's also for me, like, always to discover new designers also for our own festival. So, and, you know, so, but at the end of the day, it's really about how make sure that you kind of, even if you would just scroll, you know, that it catches your attention. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then later you will read more and find more. So.
Yeah. So first impression visual, but then let's get deep. Question to all of you: if you can describe some of the main attributes that you would like to see that are present in the portfolios within your discipline and your category. I think we said some, but maybe there's something also like very specific for product design, fashion design, service design.
So sorry, I'm not quite sure. Can you repeat the question?
So I would like to know if there are some specific maybe attributes that are very typical for your discipline, for your category, that you would like to see in the applications.
Attributes? What do you mean exactly?
Is that not the correct word, but like an aspect or something that that should be present and can maybe help the participant to win?
Okay, maybe this is not quite what you mean, but in the service design category, last year we've seen a lot of branding projects, which were more visual communication than service design. And that's also why I mentioned earlier that it's good to check the category if it's correct. And I could see why they wanted to position it in service design, but it was not that developed for it to qualify as service design. So I don't know if this is an attribute really, but what I would love to see in our category is that the candidates present this kind of wide thinking. So, you know, the context of their work, how it's going to be used, how it's going to be applied, how it fits into the larger framework of things, of social structures. So I don't know if it's clear what I'm trying to say, but yeah, the larger context, I think that's the key here.
Okay. So that is for service design. Branko, is there anything for fashion?
For me, like what I like I mean, obviously, yeah, how it looks. Like say if your project is not finished yet, sometimes I'm confused, like when there is only drawings, for example, I want to like, oh, how does this look like? So if you don't have, if your work is not ready yet, then maybe there's previous work, then you can see, oh, this is how the style of a designer. I would like always to read few lines about someone's reflection on sustainability. So how their project is ethical in some way. For me, that's very important to know. And also still the question like, why is this project existing? And sometimes I like to kind of see whether someone can give you a little bit of a glimpse of ambition, you know, why are you applying? Because you kind of really have, you want to establish a practice and this is important for your career development, or is just kind of, you know, to read a little bit, to really kind of position yourself like, I'm this designer, I make this because of this, and I would like to contribute to that that's why I'm doing this. And I would like to present myself there, or I see myself there. Then you kind of see like very shortly, like a path, where is someone at and how this certain contest can be part of their development. But I think and also these days, I mean, we want the transparency is a very difficult thing in fashion. You know, we don't know where a lot of products come from. So you as a designer, you can change that. You can really mention, you know, I've produced it there, made it there. And even if you some aspects, you can even say that you don't know some things yet, but you will be working on. That's also good. You know, you don't have to hide everything. You can also be honest. And I say, oh, they're now articulating on this, reflecting. They're not there yet, but they will develop this further. But the project looks interesting. So, you know, you can really win over with that as well, because you are starting up, you're developing things. You can't know everything yet.
So we want ambitious but imperfect designers.
Yeah, that you can still grow. Like, I mean, Marek is still developing his project, although, you know, it's like looking for way how to, because eventually I hope that you want to be impactful, that you have a positive impact on the world with your work. And that is not something we can know immediately, right? We have to work on that.
Thank you. Marek, what you would like to see in the industrial and product portfolios?
So besides aesthetics and functionality, definitely I would like to see the aim of the project, as Branko said before. Then maybe personal motivation for that project, or overall the motivation. Definitely, because I'm social designer, so I would like to see the social aspect in the project, or be highlighted. What you were trying to change, or what you were trying to do, who did you involve into the project? How did you process? How did you get the knowledge? This kind of research part of the project is quite interesting, and sometimes it's more interesting than the final outcome, because sometimes we might go as a designers overthink or something like that, and then actually the development of the project will show more about the project than the final outcome. Definitely, I would like the projects to be authentic, if that makes sense. And also to see the person behind of this project, to also see what was driving you to make this. So it's kind of within the motivation, I think.
Yeah. I guess that Branko is like already a bit nervous because he has to leave like very much right now. So Branko, thank you so much.
If there is kind of like a pressing question, and if there's someone has a question, I mean, you can still, I don't know, ask it later, but I mean, you are already in good hands with all of you with saying the things I can really relate to.
Thank you so much for the answers and for the presents.
Yeah. So if there is some last questions for me specifically, I'm happy to answer it still.
You have the time now, okay? You have the time now, like you can.
1 minute.
Okay, so if there is like super urgent question, definitely you should raise your hand now, unmute your microphone and just shout to the microphone to Branko. If there's a fashion textile discipline applicants. But I have to say that I read everything from the Q&As that was directed to you. If I didn't read it, it's just only because we already answered it, so it was like double.
Perfect. And I mean, what Janka and Marek are saying, I'm really like, I think what's nice that in ways, although we are different categories, we are on the same page. And I think also because eventually we kind of approach design from a certain way of how we look at life and world. And I think that that's the beautiful thing about Zine Design Week. So thank you so much for hosting this and organizing this, and looking forward to your applications. That's and very proactive of you who are joining. So great of you already that are part of this evening. So
you will remember the names, right? Last point.
Notice some of them down. So that's already a very good thing too.
Yeah, I agree. Good.
Okay, bye-bye. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Branko. Bye-bye. I will use the few following or leftover minutes to you, Janka. I was actually wondering, because you mentioned that, and I guess within your discipline, service design is happening the most often, at least now, because it's still new discipline. I think it's now the 3rd year that we're organizing the service design discipline. You said there are sometimes these scenarios where someone who is maybe more like a graphical design applies. So then, therefore, maybe if you can describe then what is service design to you? What do you like? What kind of characteristics we're seeking in the service design, and is actually within the definition?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, good question. So there was a little bit of a back and forth actually about this after the previous round of competition. And let me just very quickly change windows, because I want to pull up the definition that we've sent in earlier, because it would, it's the end of the day and I've been talking to people the whole day and my brain is a little bit foggy already.
And it's January, it's so dark, and I think we're all very done.
Yeah, so 1 second. So yeah, I've written this description earlier. So we want to see submissions in this category that are the design of interactive digital as well as non-digital communication and decision-making processes that enable end users to achieve their intended goals in accordance with their needs and capabilities. This category seeks proposals that represent an in-depth and detailed understanding of the user needs and user experience connected to the design-driven solutions, as well as their embeddedness into daily life. So I hope this was, clear to everyone. I think the main thing that I would like to highlight is that, and I think that this is why this happened so much, that some of the submissions were misplaced, that this is a very elusive category. and it's a very new discipline, and it's also a very interdisciplinary approach which is necessary to do something like this. So I would say that I think the complexity is something that has to be there in this category to perform well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can add to Janka that I totally agree that sometimes it's quite difficult to define where your project's supposed to be. And I was facing this last year as well. I didn't know if I should go for service design or I should go for product design, because within my product design, there is a huge way of actually service design. So it is quite challenging sometimes to define, and also something between product design, which is back in the days was mostly like product physical objects design, and now it's more UX UI, and it's like the name is taken away and it's more within communication design. Then also with service design, this UX UI also is kind of on the edges. So I do understand why people choose the categories.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's also good to ask someone to also define, to help maybe define if you have a problem while you're applying to which category you should apply. Maybe if it's like a bigger project, graduation project, maybe then it's easier to know which category, because probably your supervisor will help you to define, but it completely makes sense that sometimes it's difficult to within these categories to decide.
Okay. Is it actually possible, Eliška, so question to our team, to maybe find you and check this out with you or through your email?
Yeah, of course. Everyone can reach out to me, reach out to my team, and we can discuss everything and maybe even connect with the jury. You know, they're always here. I mean, by email, not easily, I wish. But yeah, we can always talk about it. So the results are as best as they could be. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely use our team to maybe give you some hint in this. And definitely, I guess all of you has either a peer designer, supervisor within the school, any designer professional who could give you some feedback, and you can discuss it. We have 3 last minutes before 7, so actually I would just like to use these few last minutes to give some encouragement to the participants. So maybe Janka and Marek, if you can give us few last words to encourage everyone to apply. I guess maybe Marek, if you start, because you can reflect on how it changed your life, so maybe there's a motivation.
So definitely you don't have to be perfect. I think imperfection are really a valuable thing in your projects. Be authentic, be yourself. Make sure that you present in the way that you would like to people understand the project. And believe in yourself, because really often you're making incredible projects. Is just spend a little bit more time if you're not sure on the application process, because maybe 2-3 sentences will describe something that you were struggling to sell about your project. So don't worry too much, just try it out, and if your project will be qualified, that's amazing. If not, it's always a good learning outcome out of that process. And if you will not qualify to the final, then also please try to come and visit Zlin during the Zlin Design Week to see other people applied for the project, for the contest, and also to make some connections with people. It's a really nice place to be. I think that's from me.
Thank you so much. Janka?
Well, from a purely professional point of view, these kinds of possibilities, these kinds of competitions are a really good way to rethink one's work, one's portfolio. So if you're in school still, if you're in design training, from time to time you will have to reformulate your portfolio. You will have to, clarify your intentions. You will have to describe your projects. But all in all, this is a very good way to get professional feedback and to make sure that you put all your materials in order. So even if someone doesn't win, I think it's a good chance to get good feedback, to get, it's a framework that people can use to get better.
Good. So just see Best in Design competition as kind of like a prototyping your way to a perfect designer. It's just part of the journey.
And there's also really good PR because you guys do a really good job at that. So yeah, it highlights a lot of amazing projects.
Good. So I think that was really nice little push for everyone to, that like you can see now that there's really nothing to be afraid of. Every single jury member is just as nice as the people that you just listened to. So thank you, Marek, and thank you, Janka, so much for being here, staying with us, and I hope giving the applicants nice and really helpful hints and tips.
All right, thank you for
so
organizing that.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Marek and Janka.
See you soon.
Yes, I hope so. And for the rest of the participants, you can still stay on the call, and there is definitely some time left to walk through the more formal questions regarding the portfolio and sizes of pictures and stuff like that. So for Marek and for Janka, I think that was all, and we can now orient to Eliška, and she'll be giving the answers. So goodbye.
Right. See you guys.
Thank you. Ellie, actually a question. Do you want to read the questions yourself from the Slido? And then you can only reflect on the ones that you see that are commonly asked and that are important.
Yes, of course. I hope I don't, miss any question. Hopefully you will, tell me if I missed something, but I see the first question is, when will be the results? And it's liked too, so I think it's a popular question. I believe this question is about the publication of the winning finalists, which will be right at the beginning of March. This year it falls on the 6th or 7th of March. If you want specific dates, but we always let know all the applicants about their placement by email, if they have been selected in the top 3, if they are in the top 10, or if they didn't have any luck that year. So it's always also posted on our Instagram, so stay tuned for that. But the answer is at the beginning of March. We will let you know. Yes. Is the deadline 2nd February including? So the exact deadline is February 2nd, 11:59 p.m. So it does run until midnight. We do accept applications. So between night of Sunday and Monday. But please do not forget that Czech Republic's in the Central European time zone, GMT +1 if you are in the UK. So always check what time is it in Prague if you're a foreign applicant. So it does run until midnight. Next question: what do you mean target group in registration form? So for those who don't know, we recently upgraded or updated our registration form a little bit. As part of the annotation, we added 3, short questions the designers have to answer us. One of the questions is who the target audience of the applicant's design is. So this simply means who you designed your project for, who are the people or the institutions or companies, any specific segment you created the design for, because knowing your target audience is very important. It also was mentioned on this call by our jury, but yeah, then you have a clear idea of what your design is for, who is it, what is it about, who do you want to reach it with. So I believe it's really fundamental for creating designs that are purposeful and also effective in the real world. So yes, I hope that was clear. I'm searching for another questions that I could answer. There is one about poster, but I missed it, I think. Natalia, oh, I found it. It's okay. Yeah, does all the material need to be in vertical orientations? Photos and posters, from what I understand, photos need to be 1920 x 1080 pixels, and the posters A2. So the materials, the photos and the posters do not need to be strictly only vertical. It is true we usually receive the poster in the A2 format, but it's not mandatory form. That also applies to photos. You can present yourself in the most suitable way for you, so you can send us any format, even though it's written in the rules, but it's more of a formality. If you really want to present yourself in any other format, you can always reach out to me, discuss it, and we can come up with some solutions. So yes. I don't know, Natalia, do you see any other questions that could be answered by me, or does anyone else have questions for the organizational matter for me?
I'm kind of on hold because I'm waiting for something for a pickup to arrive. But I think if let's do the last invite of people to write their questions in the Slido. There's next questions, Eliška, very much at the bottom. So maybe you can.
Yeah, the animation. Yeah. Good evening. Is it possible to submit a website with an animation to the competition in the communication design category? It's definitely possible. Right at the bottom of our registration form, there is one part where you can send us any links. It can be for animation, it can be for portfolio. So definitely, use that, and any accompanying things like photos and stuff like this can be screenshots if the project is directly about the animation. So put the animation in the link right at the bottom of the form, and center around with the other materials. I hope that was what you asked. Yeah. Karen, you said something, but you had your mic off and we couldn't hear you. I still can't hear you. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if Natalia is here still. Natalia? Maybe she just ran for the pickup. Yeah. I will just have one last look at the Slido. Results I discussed, deadline I discussed, target group is okay. Yeah, as I mentioned, if you had any question for the jury and it wasn't answered here, the jurors left early and you didn't have the chance to ask your questions, you can always send us an email, send them email. If we find it, we can connect you, or we can always discuss what you need for your application to be the best. So we are always open. Natalia.
Yeah, sorry for a little jump off, but I think from the questions you just read all of them, as you said, that people are more than welcome to reach out to you. Two important things to say: that we are recording the whole session, so you will find it later on. We have to agree on where, probably YouTube, maybe as an audio recording. So stay tuned to our social media channels, where we will tell you when and where you can find the recording. So you can always record it later on and just return to the questions that maybe you want to hear again. So that's the first thing. And second thing is that also Eliška's video guide that you see at the very, very beginning is also available online. So it's on our website. I think it's also on YouTube, Eliška.
Mm-hmm. Yes, on our YouTube.
So I think there's like literally everything important set and written down. So and if you don't understand any part, you can ask Eliška directly on her email. Also, as I mentioned in the panel discussion last year after the design festival, we were recording also a panel discussion with Branko, with Janka, and 3 more judges, also from product and industrial discipline. So maybe any questions that were not said here were said there. So definitely I'll invite you to go to our Spotify or to your Spotify and find Design Canteen podcast, and you can listen to the panel discussion there. We still have Marek present, so maybe like last invite to the visitors, if you want to ask Marek about something, I don't know, maybe it can be more personal this time. It can be about the application process. We talk about that. Maybe it can be how what is he doing in Nepal with his project, because he's in Nepal currently. So if there are any questions, you can also unmute your microphones and just ask directly.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, so use the time.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the application process, because you said that it's important to show like the process, the research. Is that something that should be included in the poster? And like the photos are supposed to be the final photos of the project? Do I understand that correctly? Like that should be in the poster, like that. Yeah, that's it.
I think, Eliška, it's going to be probably a question to you mostly, but I can share later my experience and what I think as well.
Yes, of course. You can back me up on this later. But I would recommend a poster is more of a, promotional material. So it's used to, highlight your project the best just on one format, one slide. It can be, as I said, an A2 format, just like a normal poster with the name of the project and maybe some little information, mainly photos. It's up to you how you present the poster, but I would recommend that the process, the development of the concept is highlighted in the photos, and also set in the annotation by text, by words. So probably that's what I would recommend from my side as an organizer. But Marek, if you want to share your view.
So definitely poster is supposed to be something more selling product poster. Most likely in most of the design schools or Academy of Fine Arts, you probably present something at the end of the project. So you're selling your poster, you want us to buy that. And then I think the process can be placed in the video. If that's the same way as was last year, then you have some time that you can explain project step by step within the sketches, or how did you develop the project with your research as well. And I think that's a good place to do it, because also then you can add voiceover or some text, and that's a good place to do it, I think.
Okay, thank you. I understand more now, because like for me in my head it was like, okay, the poster, maybe that's supposed to have the whole story, but is it maybe okay if I put like a link to like the Behance like of the project that contains the like development of the project?
You can put the link right at the bottom of the registration form, as I mentioned. There's a category for, I don't know how it's called exactly. I can look it up right now really quick. But there's this space for the link and
Like
any materials.
Or
Sorry?
is that the extra information, Eliška, or is that part of the like?
Yeah, that's more of like an extra type of information. But usually the jury does look through that, yeah, there's link to video, animation, or other files, but it's optional, so you don't have to send it. But it's nice if you support your application in that way.
Okay, so that's good. And also for like the concepts, because I have a few projects that are like models. They're not functioning prototypes, but they look like they are. So is that like considered a product concept and not like the final? I don't know. Is it better if it's a functional prototype, or does it not matter if it's functional or just like for aesthetics? I don't know, like just to show what the model would look like in real life if it was working.
Okay, can I ask you to reframe what you said? So you said that you have few prototypes of the same project, the same aim. So how did you develop the project?
I have like a few projects that don't end in functional prototypes, but they end in like I don't know how to call it, like a model, just like a model of it.
Like
it's
a
not,
mock-up,
it's not
okay.
3D model, but in real life, like a model that's supposed to like simulate how it would look like if it was a real product, and if it was really functional and produced.
I think then I'll say that will be good to show the scale of that with the real human size, if this possible.
Yeah. I have photos of like people interacting with the model, like so you can see the size and how it would be used, basically. But from what I understand, that's also like a product concept. Yeah, and that's possible to submit products. I mean, ideas like that.
I mean, definitely yes, because my project, it's also mostly concept. It still needs lots of development. It is working, It can be used, but at the end of the day, it's still a long process to go to make it, like being more like, I don't know, like that you can just go and get it easily. It still needs the time to be developed for the better aim. And also this is everything like happening like that with all the products. At the beginning you have like mock-ups, prototypes, testing, and then at the end you will have the final product, which actually can be, I don't know, bought or like used. And it's a long process. So definitely, I think girls, Natalia and Neliška, I think it makes sense just to show how it's supposed to work, the real scale model with the humans and or people, or maybe some kind of also description how that's supposed to be developed in the future.
Yeah. Okay. And if we submit, I'm so sorry. I got a lot.
Go ahead.
And if we submit, because I saw on the website it said that we can submit a few projects. Is that okay? Is that like gonna? I don't know. Is that the positive? Is it okay if we submit a few projects?
Yeah, it's you're free to send as many as you like. Of course, it's not the best if you send us 20. That will
No. Of course, I just have like 3 that I'm not sure which would be the best suited, and I like them all, and they're pretty much polished with the story and everything. So that's what I was thinking to like.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to send 3 projects, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry for taking up.
No, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. That's why we are here.
Okay. Thank you.
I think with your questions, you also clarified it for others who might have asked the same question, or it could be a bit blurry. It could be interesting to hear it from them as well. So maybe other participants, if you want to ask questions either to Eliška or Marek, definitely you can do it now. And if you don't want to, it's also okay. So I think we are probably good for today. It was 1 hour and 20 minutes of intense information, I can imagine, for the applicants. So we don't want to overwhelm you even more. Eliška, if you want to say any last words.
Yeah, I would just like to thank everybody. Thank Mark, who is still here, but also Branko and Janka, who left. But yeah, we are really looking forward to seeing all of your applications. We can't wait. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. As I said many times before, you can always reach out to me or to my team. Yeah, you're welcome. So I think that's it. I'm just looking at the Slido really quick again, but I do not see any other questions that we might be able to answer. I hope we didn't miss anyone. If we did, please do not hesitate and reach out to us again. Yeah.
And so we have the very active social media, so you can ask there. Please follow us. We update also about the Holzlin Design Week, about the program, about it's connected to the podcast of Design Canteen, where sometimes we put also international level. Most of the time is in our native language, which is Czech, but sometimes you can find also topics that are covered in English. So maybe for inspiration, it could be nice. So social media, follow that. For inspiration, Eliška is always ready there for your questions. The website is also fully working, so you can find the informations there. And yeah, hopefully it was helpful to you all. So yeah, the recording will be available as well. Thank you so much, all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Thank
hosting
you.
this meeting, and hopefully we answered already most of the questions.
I think yes.
Yeah, I believe it was perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Amazing.
All right. So
Ciao.
have a nice rest of the evening, guys. See you at the finale, I hope. Tak, yeah, I believe that's team. Marek, if you want to stay and chat, you're more than welcome to.
But we're still recording.
I'm actually now surprised that the members also left, because
Yeah.
they will stay, but whatever.
Yeah, they already said
But it's still
goodbye.
recording.
Yeah,
Yes,
we can cut it out. I can